Patrol!
Why can't they just do that? Wait, like, why do I need to cut a hole in the bottom of a car, bro? Like, what? Wait. Do. You say type shit? Yo, why are we good at these pictures, bro? Why do we, I feel like we both unlocked that at the same time. I didn't know I could do that.
We did not know we could do that before.
What the shit?
This pigeon is a CIA spy. It's wearing a tiny high-tech camera.
I know, bro. Snitch ass bird, bro. You know, you be hanging out with this rat.
No.
I was gonna say, boy, Vulture's gonna get his ass, boy. What did you talk about?
And it's about to gather intelligence on Soviet nuclear submarines.
We get niggas like him the bird flu. You tell me that sounds like an STD. Never mind.
This is a dolphin. Right now, it's being trained
My fault.
That's a dolphin.
to carry bombs and attach them to enemy vessels, possibly miniaturized nuclear.
Oh wait, I get it. Emo only, bro. Emo only, bro. Emo only. Wait, I just realized what I did. Emo only, bro. Mango. Jay, thank you.
Nuclear bombs. This Raven isn't just around. It's on a mission. Currently, it's heading towards the hotel room of a KGB agent to plant a bug there. And this cat has been sent to spy on a Chinese diplomat.
Damn.
I don't like how he was asleep before I did this, bro. He just opened his eye. Why you just open your eyes, bro?
What he gonna steal from you, bro? Your Popeyes order, bro. Let him get back to his nap, bro. You don't got nothing to steal from you, bro. We're broke. We're broke, bro. He don't have nothing to steal from you, bro. We're broke. Why would they want something? We don't have anything. Get back to the React, bro. It's fake. It's fake. It's fake. These are fake. Stop.
It had a microphone surgically implanted in its ear, and there's an antenna in its tail.
That's animal abuse, bro.
That's abuse.
That's terrible.
That doesn't look like it's supposed to be.
This all sounds like science fiction, but animal spies are very real. Their stories have long been shrouded in secrecy, myths, and legends. But in 2019, the CIA released a large trove of previously classified documents. They give us a glimpse into how the CIA tries to weaponize animals. Today, we will look at the 4 most spectacular projects. They reveal a story of Cold War paranoia, unchecked hubris, absurd waste, spectacular failures, and wild ideas that were taken too far.
Bro, I love. Have you ever seen a Fern video?
Mm-hmm.
I love his videos.
His
bro.
videos are.
Most of this video is based on declassified CIA documents. Of course, the CIA wants to present itself in a certain light.
Bro, I'll always be so surprised that the fact that they put crack into black communities is canon and true information. Like, isn't that actually crazy to think about?
I just
learned
learned that today. That's a real thing.
Wait, today, like, by me? Or by, you learned this by, reaction or something?
Reaction?
Wait, no. To fund, some type of war, they put crack cocaine into black communities and profited off of it.
That wasn't a bit?
That's real. They actually dead ass did that. There's literally they did that. Actually, factually. Like that's not a conspiracy theory.
So the person who had me selling, what?
It's careful about what it
Shut up, bro.
reveals. Some parts are heavily redacted, and sometimes other sources give conflicting information. We can only present what we know, and if we don't know something, we'll be transparent about it. As always, you can find our sources in the description.
Nobody looking at that? Tell us, big
Humans weaponize animals to make use of special capabilities they themselves lack. A dog's sense of smell is up to 10,000 times stronger than ours. It's perfect for sniffing out illegal drugs. To cross the Alps and invade Italy, the Carthaginian general Hannibal used war elephants. During World War II,
If I'm in a war and I see an elephant, bro, I'm not fighting them.
bro. They got it.
You got it, bro.
They
The
want
land
it,
is yours, twin.
the Polish army deployed a brown bear named Wojciech to the Italian front. In Iraq, the US military worked with dolphins, putting their unparalleled echolocation skills to use detecting underwater mines. And some work with animals is veiled.
Any country that uses spiders as a weapon, you got it. You got it.
Ain't gonna lie.
I'm not fighting you. I'm not. No. A tactical spider. Out of here. Out of here. Out of here. Canine. Cool. Warrior pigeon. Cool. Warrior spider. You got it. You got it. I'd let them use a pterodactyl before I let them use a spider. Imagine you.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of something worse. I actually do think you got it. I think
You got
spider
it.
is actually
You
the
got
worst
it.
one.
You got
I
it.
was trying to think. I do think spider's the worst one.
Held in secrecy.
I surrender.
I surrender. No cap.
By their nature, it's hard to tell exactly how far these programs have progressed. In 2019, a beluga whale was discovered in Norwegian waters wearing a camera harness. A tag identified it as belonging to St.
Vlogging.
Petersburg,
They were shooting IRL, bro.
Russia.
All right, chat.
Bro, that nigga was cutting up in the ocean, bro.
It was
That nigga was listening to straight New York drill, bro. What the fuck?
quickly accused of being a spy. In 2007, Iran apprehended 14 squirrels near a nuclear enrichment plant.
What?
The animals were arrested as spies. In 2018, a senior military advisor told journalists that Western nuclear spies had been using lizards to collect information about Iran's nuclear program.
How?
Animals have an inherent
How?
advantage that human spies lack. People simply don't notice them. Unlike human agents or advanced technology like drones, animals can typically pass undetected, even in secure areas. But there's a problem. Animals are not natural spies. They need training. During the Cold War, the CIA faced a mighty adversary, the Soviet Union. In trying to claim the upper hand, the agency explored all sorts of
I
methods.
think this was the very war that they put crack in black communities. I think it was against the Soviets. I think it was like the Cold War.
Some of them highly unorthodox. Psychedelic drugs, mind control, silent killer weapons, stealing Russian submarines.
Wait.
Psychedelic drugs, mind control,
Oh shoot! I had this video on my watch later.
silent killer weapons, stealing Russian submarines, and, of course, animal agents.
No, it was against a South American country. I still think that was like communism, though. It was against like communism.
CIA fell off. Where the presidential assassinations at in GTA?
And this is why we had to read his chat logs. We forgot. We forgot.
In the mid-1960s, the CIA launched Project Axiolite. The goal was to provide reliable trained avian vehicles for emplacement, transport, and or recovery of reconnaissance surveillance sensors to meet operational requirements as defined by the sponsors.
Okay.
In other words, the CIA was training birds to transport things like recording devices. But which birds were spy material? There were several candidates, some stronger than others. The cockatoo seemed to be a wild card.
Oh no.
No, that's
Hell no.
not. That's
Hell no.
not even like. If
Hell
I'm
no.
in a secure base in Idaho and I see a
cockatoo?
cockatoo, I'm up in the cockatoo. What are you talking about, bro? What? No.
One memo states, "We are completely in the dark as to what the possibilities are in regard to this critter." There were high hopes for the hawks. Brandy and GB are two of the
see why.
program's
Yeah.
hawks. They were
That's a little too American, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ain't no hawks in. Never mind.
especially reliable and determined. They could locate specific objects or features in strange territory. They could carry a 13-ounce package for more than a mile. They could even remove objects from a harness they themselves were wearing. But in general, they were not considered strong flyers. Horned owls respond
Ah, but they're nocturnal, though.
to a high-frequency
Mobiosi.
whistle and can be recalled by trainers, even in extreme low lights.
Owls are calm though, because they're the only bird that flies like silently.
Imagine the owl comes through to drop a drake.
I got it.
Situations. But in daylight, their ability to discern objects is much worse than that of other birds.
Yeah, that's just a no-go.
As time progresses, one unlikely candidate
It would have to be crow or pigeon.
stands out. Doodah, a raven.
Oh.
Ah, you just said crow.
I said crow. I said crow
or a raven.
pigeon. I thought I said pigeon. Did I say raven?
Maybe.
Oh. I could have sworn I said crow or pigeon. Crow, because like crows and ravens are like smart as.
We now know that ravens are extremely intelligent birds. They have excellent memories, can plan for the future, and are capable of using tools and solving puzzles.
Look what happens when you include the black one. You include the black one, you start finding out that they're useful. And then shut up.
Ravens
Shut up. I know. Shut.
aren't black. They're ultra.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Humans.
So what are we doing? What are we doing? This is our chance. This is our chance. This is our chance. Yo, snap out of it. He's coming up. Snap out of it. Snap out of it.
Who's coming over?
Oi, bro. You know, that's not oi shit, bro.
It's not.
Oi.
Stop with this. You know, I almost named my VOD channel Oi 808 just to commit to
I
the
told
bit.
you, it grows on you, bro.
No, I hate that bit.
It grows
I hate
on
that
you,
bit.
bro.
It's such a whack ass bit. Bro.
It grows on you, bro.
That's that oi. Here we go, bro. Here we go, bro. Here we go. Bro.
Researchers have found
Ravens aren't black. They're ultraviolet, and humans can't interpret
stop
the
it.
colors, so like we see it as black.
that 4-month-old ravens can perform certain cognitive tasks, as well as adult-grade apes. CIA documents usually stick to dry facts, but Doodah was Project Axiolight's superstar. In one memo, an agent dedicates a whole page to the saga of Doodah. Project Axiolight began at a Navy facility at San Clemente Island, off the coast of
Okay.
California. There, the CIA tested the strength of various birds.
Right?
Their task, fly from the island to a boat and back. This might sound easy, but the distance was challenging, and the winds could be strong. Most birds
Okay.
can manage to fly between 50 yards and 1.5 miles. Doodah, meanwhile, flew 3.5 miles.
Damn.
A few months later, he was almost doubling that distance.
Damn.
He was also
Dang.
problem solving. In every session, he would figure out exactly the right altitude he needed to fly for the unique wind conditions. Aggressive native birds posed a major threat to the CIA trainees. Wild gulls and ravens soon figured out their training schedule once they knew when the
The only thing that pisses me off about this is like, bro, this crow should be living a normal life, bro. This nigga should not be transporting stuff for greedy ass humans, bro. I don't know. Part of me can't.
Nah, put
like,
that nigga to work. Yeah, I'm there with it. I'm there with it. Yeah. Put it Project Crow. I'm not gonna lie. Project Braun, Project Crow, bro. Luck of the draw, bro.
this should be eating
Shouldn't have gotten caught.
bugs
Shouldn't have
and
gotten
having
caught.
a nest.
He
with
probably
the-
like one of them death row crows.
CIA birds would show up, they would lie in wait and then attack. But Doodah solved this problem too. To avoid the gulls, he'd keep to a higher altitude and outfly them. The wild ravens were another matter. They would hide behind the bluffs, waiting for an opportunity to attack. Doodah's solution was to engage in brief dogfights with the ravens, while leading them further and further from shore. After about a mile, they would give up and turn back. Ravens' intelligence made them good at more than flying. According to Navy animal trainer Bob Bailey, they could be taught to recognize specific desks, open drawers, and carry heavy objects like file folders. The CIA started training ravens like Doodah extensively and eventually used them in the field. According to the CIA documents, this is how they did it. A CIA agent wants to record
That cut is so horrendous, bro. Good,
I feel like you could throw some ears on it.
good lord.
I feel like if you throw some ears on it, it's there.
Nah. This bald fade is.
Yeah, and there's no edge up. You're right.
Yeah, like his ear would be like right
Right
here,
there.
so there's like nothing.
Mhm.
Nah.
Yeah,
a
that's
secret
like that.
conversation between enemy agents. He knows where and when it's taking place, down to the building and the exact room. Now he needs to get a recording device close to the conversation,
You need that reverse boozy.
as inconspicuously as possible.
Thank you, Rip Suko.
To do this, he goes to a nearby building with a view of the targeted location, no more than 300 feet away. With him, he has a trained raven.
So pigeons aren't actually the spies that we should be worried about. Where did that come from? Why did, well, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know how, like, online it's like, oh, it's in the
Yeah,
pigeons,
yeah.
it's in the pigeons.
You ever watch Valiant? There's a movie about like a war pigeon. Maybe that.
You think so?
Oh no. No, because there
Oh my
was a pigeon
gosh.
that did some shit.
They whitewashed pigeons. What color is a raven? What color is a pigeon?
At the appropriate time, he aims a tiny flashing laser at the window ledge outside the room where the conversation is taking place. Then he releases the raven from its cage. The bird takes a disguised listening device in its beak and flies to the spot indicated by the laser to plant the equipment. The agent then turns on a special desk lamp to signal to the raven that it's time to return. Later on, the raven is sent to retrieve the recording device by the same method. At least, this is how it's described in the document, Operator's Manual, Avian Delivery System. In real life, things didn't go as smoothly.
Of course not.
Training a wild animal to be a spy takes time. It takes planning. If the CIA is still training animals today, and when a device made it to the right windowsill, the microphone picked up so much ambient noise, the recording was useless. The document suggests that this whole technique was only used a single time, and the attempt seems to have been unsuccessful.
Like, it's just too many steps.
Yeah.
It's just too many steps.
not enough.
All that energy that you put into training an animal to kind of do it and not understand it, you could train a human to just do it. Like, even though it's more dangerous, it's like better bang for your buck.
Unfortunately, Duda's luck eventually ran out. One day he was
Rest in peace, Duda, bro. This is sad. I'm already knowing.
attacked by a pair of wild ravens he'd fought many times before. All 3 birds disappeared from sight, and Duda never returned.
Damn.
Rest in peace, bro. You know what I'm saying?
He was presumed killed in action.
It's a
Lost a good soldier, bro.
It's a bird, bro. That's so ass.
The saga of Duda mourns his loss. He was in a class by himself, writes his trainer. He had a very large bag of tricks and was loved by all. In view of these talents, I suppose I shouldn't have been too surprised when he so quickly became a star on this project. In spite of our deep sense of loss, writes the anonymous agent, we do understand such tragedies are inevitable. Ravens aren't the only birds the CIA used as spies. In secret locations across the United States, Project Axiolite was also busy turning the humblest of birds into covert eyes in the skies.
White.
Shut up.
It's September 1976. Aerial photographs show the Soviets building nuclear submarines in Leningrad. But the CIA needs more information. Spy planes fly tens of thousands of feet above their target, while satellites are restricted to space. From these distances, it's impossible to take detailed high-resolution photos. Enter pigeons. A pigeon could fly about 100 feet over a target any time, day or night, and regardless of the weather. Most importantly, no one would notice it, and they could clearly be trained. Pigeons are no strangers to war. During World War II, the British National Pigeon Service would drop cases of the birds over occupied Europe. People would send them back with information about daily life or even military details like troop movements. The key was their unique honing instinct. Anywhere you release a pigeon, it can find its way back home. Even today, this ability still isn't fully understood. To exploit pigeons' natural talents for aerial photography, the CIA's Office of Research and Development created special 16mm cameras and harnesses for the birds to wear.
Right.
The harnesses were made of leather and attached to the birds with adjustable Velcro tabs. They were designed to allow the birds full freedom of movement while holding the camera steady during flight. The cameras were lightweight and miniaturized. Each had a small battery-powered motor that advanced the film and cocked the shutter. Each camera had its own timer. When it went off, the camera would take pictures for just a few minutes, resulting in 150 to 220 photos. Together, the camera and harness weighed just 39.5 grams.
Just a GoPro or my
To produce
Yeah, it's literally a GoPro.
a GoPro, right?
It's a
useful images, pigeons needed to fly directly over their target at exactly the right time. But this could be difficult to arrange. Once they were released, the pigeons would fly back home in a more or less direct line. If the target was located on that line, there was a fairly good chance the pigeons would fly over it. But in covert situations, it wasn't always possible to release pigeons in ideal locations. Some areas were restricted, others were too exposed. To get around this problem, CIA handlers tried to teach the birds ABC flight. Point A is the point of release, point B is the target, and point C is the pigeon's home loft. To begin with, temporary targets a short distance away were established at point B. When they flew to these targets, the pigeons were rewarded. Over time, they were conditioned to expect this reward. Next, the reward at point B was eliminated, but to receive a reward at point C, they had to fly over point B first. And that's how they trained a pigeon to move from A to B to C.
Okay.
Once the birds were
It's crazy what you could do for food, bro. Like, if I taught you some food, you're really like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, draw this frame for me. Now draw this frame for me and clean my crib. That's basically what they're doing, though.
Conditioned, they moved on to longer training flights. Inflatable white radar
Yo-Yo's dorking for 24-piece Popeyes.
For
All right,
24
bro.
minutes.
All right.
beams 20 feet in diameter were used as point B.
Come on, gang. I'm bent over.
I wasn't behind you. It wasn't behind you.
It looks like it, though. It's the camera.
Kind of did look like it. But
The CIA trained
I didn't know you was okay.
and tested
Okay, I
birds
gotta-
in lofts in Oregon, Virginia, Missouri, and Alaska. Alaska, it was noted, shared certain geographical features with areas of interest in the Soviet Union.
Okay.
The training yielded mixed results. Birds were often lost along the way. Some birds simply flew away. Some were killed by wild birds. On the longer training flights, many birds flew too low along freeways and were hit by cars.
Oh, birds had this much ops.
No, they be getting active.
Yeah,
Birds
I
sometimes
didn't-
Have you seen a video of a hawk hunting? Do you know what hawks do?
Stuck.
No, a hawk will like fly at like this is a bird, right? A hawk will like fly at like a crazy high altitude, and then just fold their shit and just fall
On them?
like at like 200 miles an hour, just bam. The shit looks brutal, bro.
The bird's like,
Nigga, it'll like you'll see like a falcon, not hawk.
that's crazy. I
Either
didn't know.
way, that shit is crazy.
You learn something
That
new every
shit
day.
is Crazy.
I didn't know.
Nigga, that shit looks wild.
disappeared while wearing the special equipment that had been developed for them. Losses were time-consuming and expensive. Each time a bird was lost, a new one had to be purchased and trained. Some of the photos taken were very high quality. Some missed the target entirely. Even when the birds were fully trained, they could be relied on to complete their ABC mission only about 1 out of 4 times. A sea flight still held potential, though. If the release point was chosen carefully, with the target area between it and the home loft, CIA analysts felt there was a high probability the birds would fly over the intended target and obtain the high-resolution photos required. So the CIA knows that the Soviets are building nuclear submarines in the Admiralty and Sudomek shipyards in Leningrad, now known as St. Petersburg, and it needs high-resolution photos. Time for the pigeons to shine.
Okay.
An agent will have to release the pigeons with the shipyards between himself and the pigeons' home loft. To do this without being detected will require clandestine release techniques. The documents mention 3 that are considered as options. One is releasing the birds from underneath a large overcoat. The second option is briefcases and shopping bags with trick bottoms. The third option is this Volkswagen Beetle. A hole is cut in the floor. When the car is parked, pigeons are released through the hole. They waddle out from underneath the car
That's
and
kinda
immediately take
calm.
flight. The operation is to go ahead by August 1978, but here the trail goes cold. It's unclear whether the operation actually ever
Why can't they just?
Start drive-by.
No, like they can just. Hey, bro.
That's true.
Why can't they just do that? Wait, like, why do I need to cut a hole in the bottom of a car, bro? Like, what?
happened. The documents don't say. While the CIA's birds may have gathered invaluable aerial photo insights,
I partially really don't want to watch the cat one, bro. That shit might fuck me. up, bro.
other agents were being trained to sabotage enemy ships. This is
This is extremely interesting video.
James W. Fitzgerald. He's an engineer and physicist. It's 1964, and Fitzgerald has been thinking about dolphins a lot. At a cocktail party, he mentions that he believes the animals could be used in warfare. The person he's talking to happens to be an admiral in the US Navy. He's intrigued enough to introduce Fitzgerald to someone from the CIA.
Dolphins are menaces. They deserve this treatment.
I'm literally writing a script about how bad dolphins are right
Yeah.
now. Like right now, currently.
Around the same time, the TV show Flipper debuts. It's about a crime-fighting dolphin in a marine reserve in the Florida Keys.
Did you watch
Like-
Flipper?
No, I don't know what this is.
Like most dolphins, Flipper is smart and friendly to humans, and he responds well to commands. We'll never know whether Fitzgerald and the CIA were inspired by Flipper, but it is plausible. According to the Washington Post, at this point, the CIA sends Fitzgerald to Florida, where he establishes a small laboratory.
Okay.
The same year, the CIA begins its dolphin program, Project Oxygas.
Who be coming up with these names, bro?
They kind of got some white
They
names.
be
I ain't gonna
cooking.
lie, bro.
The aim of Project
Damn.
Oxygas is to
Yo,
show that
that's
dolphins
crazy.
can be used in attacks against enemy ships. To this end, harnesses and nose cones are created to allow the dolphins to carry items. Someone in the CIA even produces this drawing. The dolphins are happily towing the explosive devices given to them by their handlers on top of the submarine. The program quickly passes its
Are these kamikaze dolphins?
first test. It demonstrates that a dolphin can place a simulated explosive
Please.
device against the propeller of a PT boat anchored in the open sea.
Oh, it's magnetic or something?
In November 1964, the Deputy Assistant Director of the Office of Research and Development writes that Project Oxygas has progressed more rapidly than we anticipated.
That's terrifying.
It's unclear exactly what sort of simulated explosives these dolphins were carrying. The sentence that specifies this is partly redacted.
Okay.
The CIA probably planned on using conventional explosives, but if this was the case, why the need for secrecy? A 2021 article in Popular Mechanics suggests a haunting possibility. In 1965, miniaturized nuclear weapons might have seemed achievable in the near future. The magnitude of such an idea would certainly explain the need for continued secrecy. The program's first success unlocks other goals. Trainers explore having dolphins place listening devices on enemy nuclear submarines. The hope is that directly attaching the devices will produce high-quality recordings.
The only thing that's gonna produce, like, you're not gonna hear nothing, bro. It's gonna be straight bubbles, nigga.
Sound like great top.
Come on, bro.
I'm sorry. I wasn't gonna do it. I'm sorry.
Oh
That allow
my
the CIA to
God,
better
bro.
understand how the enemy's subs work. But wild animals are hard to train. One of the dolphins' strengths is how social they are. They're willing to work, especially as they bond with their trainers. But at some point, this becomes a liability. If the dolphins are performing tasks that please their trainers, then in the field, they'll need extra time to bond with agents before they can be considered reliable. There are also questions about whether dolphins can carry out operations over longer distances. At some point, the CIA seems to realize its limitations in understanding the dolphins' capabilities, and it contacts the Navy's Office of Naval Research to help. In 1967, the program's focus changed to intelligence gathering. The dolphins were to be trained to travel great distances, at least 12 miles. They would retrieve dead drops, items or information undercover agents had left behind in
Imagine
the
being a dolphin during this time, because I'm pretty sure, not pretty sure, but imagine being a dolphin around this time. They're using you as an agent, stuff like that. And then America's also having the whole thing, not America, but everybody's having the whole thing. It's like, oh, clean the ocean, clear the ocean. And all the people are like, man, f the ocean, f the dolphins. And the dolphins.
What?
I'm fighting for the land right now, bro. That's
so
a crazy
stupid,
time
bro.
to be employed by them.
water to be picked up. A memo from September 14th that year suggests that Oxygas had become a joint program of the CIA and the Department of Defense.
But when the black people use it, it's called because whippets. And
Yeah.
No, don't do.
At all, bro. I don't know why the.
The CIA seemed unsure that Project Oxygas would produce actionable results, and the program seemed to be running out of steam. A make-or-break demonstration was scheduled for December. At that time, it would be decided whether Project Oxygas would continue. The demonstration seems to have been a failure. After that time, there are no further mentions of the program in the CIA documents.
That one sounded soft.
Surviving drawings and photographs gives us an idea of what Project Oxygas might have looked like. Glimpses of Project Kesho are far more rare. But between the redactions, a hazy picture
If this is bad, I'm gonna end the video.
emerges of likely the oddest creature the CIA ever created. This is Acoustic. Acoustic is the legendary project of Project Ketchel,
You look
the
cool
CIA's
as
dog.
hell.
Yeah, that shit.
I'm not gonna lie. I never seen a cat with a jawline like this. Is
Glizzy kind of got that shit.
Glizzy got an overbite.
and cat program. Of all the CIA's animal projects, Acoustic might have been the most controversial and the hardest to corroborate, depending on who you believe. The saga of Acoustic goes in fundamentally different directions. Here's the CIA story.
Oh, acoustics.
Yes.
'Cause it
Oh
makes
my.
sound.
Yo. Tee up.
I feel like that wasn't. I feel like that.
Acoustic no makes total sense. Makes complete and utter sense.
I thought they were
He
just
had a
trying to-
microphone. Acoustic no makes total sense.
I thought
Come
they
on.
were just trying to be cute with it. Got it.
In 1964, the agency wanted to be able to explore conversations held out in the open. Think two Soviet agents having a conversation in a public park. That required getting close and focusing in on the conversation without attracting attention. The solution is cats, who can often prowl around without people ever noticing them. A microphone is surgically placed inside a cat's ear canal. A transmitter is placed underneath a bunch of loose skin, and an antenna is woven into its fur. The whole procedure is low risk, humane, and minimally invasive. But the cat is still a cat. It can be trained only so far. Eventually it will do what it wants. Acoustic Kitty was never deployed in the field, and the listening devices were carefully removed from its body.
Okay, I'm over here thinking, because like the way the graph looked, I thought they were like putting it inside its.
I thought we were gonna get a doodah part 2 or something.
Yeah, I thought it was like putting it like in its head or something like that.
Get out of my
But Victor Marchetti,
Sorry. Cause
I think this nigga should have sideburns.
dang, sideburns no stash, no nothing too. No, he does. He dead looks good with it. He dead look good with it.
He got that shit on.
who was special assistant to the CIA's deputy director in the 1960s, tells a very different story. Here's his version.
Very unique suit on actually.
It's sometime in the 1960s. The CIA puts a Chinese diplomat in France under surveillance. But their bugs don't just pick up his conversations. They record all the noise in the room, including the squeaking of the couch. Individual voices are inaudible. This is characteristic of the microphones of the day, which tend to record everything around them indiscriminately. The anatomy of ears, on the other hand, allows us to focus on certain sounds and exclude others. This and your brain's auditory processing abilities are why you can have a conversation at a noisy party without being overwhelmed by every sound. When Acoustic Kitty turned its head, it would direct the microphone inside its ear. According to Marchetti, to implant the equipment, they slit the cat open, put batteries in
Slit open.
him, wired him up, including putting a power pack in his abdomen. The tail was used as an antenna. They made a monstrosity.
That's actually kind of fire.
That shit's ass, bro.
To focus on a single conversation, Acoustic Kitty would need to be trained. His handlers found that hunger or sexual arousal would cause him to simply lose interest and wander off, so they attached wires to his brain to monitor.
Alright, y'all. Hey, man. That's going to be the video. W video so far. W fern, all that. Catch you guys in the next one. Be sure to check out my stuff.
Secret Agent Yo-Yo.
Be sure to check out Stanley's stuff.
Silent Agent Stanley.
And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.